Alright, so picking up where we left off, we're on the second floor. Again, I'm going to go ahead and hide my elevation markers. Oops, did that the wrong way. Let's select that, hide in view by category. Same thing with this section marker. So, the next thing we want to do is start placing some windows. Okay, so now I'm going to tackle the windows. So if you remember from the first floor plan, all of our single windows were, let's go up here, architecture window, they were 32-inch by 54-inch double hungs, and we had created that type. Our head height is always 7 feet in this project, so we're going to change that. And again, I'm just going to place these. I'm going to get the correct number of single unit windows in place. So I'm going to do this one. There's 2 in this bedroom. And again, make sure that you're hovering over the exterior side of the wall so that the exterior face of the window is on the exterior. For this one, I'm going to place this one and this one. Now, if it conflicts with the wall, that's fine for now. This one is in the center of this elevation. So to get the placement of this correct, I can dimension this. So I go to my dimension tool in my quick access toolbar, outside face of wall to middle line, center line of window to outside face of wall, place that dimension and hit the EQ button. And what that does is it automatically creates or moves that window so that it's equal distant from either side and it's centered. I can now select that dimension and delete it. It's going to give me this warning, and it's going to say, hey, even though you're deleting this, do you want to keep it constrained? To keep it constrained, you say okay. To unconstrain it, you'd say unconstrained, but we want to keep it constrained. Now we can go in and turn our first floor underlay on, because most of these windows align with the first floor windows. So I can use that handy align tool. It's on the modify toolbar, modify panel, align, or you can simply type AL. And I can align, find the center line of the window below, that's here, to the center line of the window above, here. There's no window there. There's a window here, or I could go to the edge. It doesn't matter. It'll pick up any line that you want it to. This one I actually got. Did I get it centered? I did. That one somehow I got exactly in the right place. Now this window, there is none below, but this should be aligned with this one. So I can click the center line here, and it moves that window. Now there are other ways that we can use the align tool. We could go to the north elevation. That's this elevation here. And we can align in elevation. So I'm going to align, and I could align with any of these lines. So I'm going to choose the outside frame, and you can align in elevation as well. Now let's go back to our second floor plan. Now I'm done getting all of my windows aligned, so again, turn my underlay off. I don't need to see it for now. This window here should be in the same place. It's symmetrical. So this window, there's no window below here, so I don't have anything to align it to, but it's symmetrical with this window. So this window is going to be mirrored across the center line. So we can actually do that by selecting this window, coming up to window, and there's 2 ways you can pick axis or draw axis. Because we have this window which is in the center, we can actually pick the center line of that as the axis. So we're going to pick axis, pick that center line axis, and it automatically copies that. Actually, I should point out that when I had that selected in my options bar, so I select that, mirror, pick axis, here on the options bar I hit copy. That copies that. If you uncheck copy, it will move that window. Now, this window is not as tall, and I forgot about that on my first plan. So we're going to go back and change that, or fix that as well. So this window, we're going to change its height. So we're going to edit type. We're going to duplicate because we do not want to edit or rename this one because this one is already in many places in our model. So we're going to duplicate, and the height now is 42 inches or 3'6". We hit OK, and we come down here to our height, and we can say the height is 3'6". We can hit OK. So now I have a 32 by 42. But look, if you look at your 3D view, you're going to see what happens. It keeps the sill height and the head height is changed. I want the heads to align. So I come to my properties and I change my head height to 7 feet. And that window is now correct. And what I was saying earlier was this window, because it's in the kitchen, it's against the kitchen counter. This is the same height as this window. So now that we've created this window, all we have to do is select it, and I'm doing this in a 3D view, and just change its type to 32 by 42. Now it'll do the same thing. It'll change this. It'll keep the sill height and it'll change the head height. So we want this head height to be 7 feet for that one as well. And now those windows look correct. Now for these windows on this wall, we didn't do any mold window types last project or last assignment. I was thinking I was going to have you learn how to edit family types. It turns out that that's a little bit more complicated. I don't want to jump into that yet. So what I've done is I've provided those mold window types on our Vanco Hall website. So if you'll need to download those to your working folder, hopefully on your flash drive. And now we're going to place those windows. So architecture tab, window, check our type. We do not have that type, so we come back up to our context ribbon and say load family. And you have to browse to the folder where you save those. Again, hopefully your flash drive. I know I have them in here. And you're going to have two to download. One's going to be double hung 2 mold unit and double hung 3 mold unit. Just select both of those and load those. If you hold control in a file dialog like this, you can select multiple things, just like in Revit. Hit open. Give it a second to load. And I've actually created these family files for you. And they are, let me go back into window. If you look at these, so you'll have a double hung 2 mold unit and you'll have a double hung 3 mold unit. And the types are basically just the types that we're going to be using. So we're going to start out on the second floor with 2 mold units. And as before, just hover over the exterior face and place those units. And actually, there is I missed a window. There's a single window unit here. I'm going to select one of these, right click and say create similar. That's another way to just create something without having to go to the menu. I'm going to place that window. Now these windows I did not give dimensions for, so when we get to dimensioning, we'll place get them in place where we want them to be. I'm not going to nitpick exactly where you put these windows. Because we didn't place these mold windows on the first floor, we're going to go now to the first floor and place these windows. So this dining area has that same window. So if we go to window 32 by 54, actually sorry, I double hung 2 mold unit. Now this one I'm just going to center in the space. So I move until these two dimensions, these two temporary dimensions that show up are 3'7" and 3'7". So that's centered in that space. Now I'm going to switch to window 3 mold unit. Now there's 2 of these. Again, one is taller than the other. The 3 mold unit that goes in the kitchen is the shorter one, the 42. The one that goes in this living room is taller, so I'm going to select that. Make sure my head height's still 7 feet and place that window. This window unit changed to the 42, and I'm going to place this window. Now I can go to my 3D view, come around, and I can see that for the most part these are all the right head heights. This one for some reason went to 7'6", so I could fix that right here. And there's all my mold window units. So now I'm going to go back to my second floor, and I'm going to start placing interior doors. The interior door to this bedroom, and this office, and actually the bathroom are the same as below. This gets a slider, a single slider, or pocket door. This gets a 2'6" door. This bedroom gets a 2'6" door here, and this bedroom gets a 2'6" door here. So I'm not even going to bother showing those. I'm going to show first how to get these closet walls to be equal, and then which doors go in these closet walls. So just like our window before, we can create a dimension to the center line, hit the EQ button, and that's going to make that an equal space. We can go in and delete that dimension, hit OK. Same thing down here. Oops. Grab the center line, inside face, EQ, delete this. These, we have the door type loaded, but we have the door family loaded. We don't have the right type, so we're going to go to door, load family. Here, let me get back up. So we'll go to doors, residential, and this is an interior, let me see if I can find it here, double sliding 2-panel wood door. And I chose the 4-foot. This is different than our last assignment, or our AutoCAD assignment. That's fine. I'm just going to choose the 4 foot by 7 foot, and change that to here. Oh, I can't use the 4 foot. That's the wrong size. I will have to change this to 3'4". So I'm going to edit type, come down here, duplicate first, change this to a 40" by 84, change my width to be 40 inches, and hit OK. Now I have a 3'4" slider. Get it centered, and place these doors. I use the same door over here, centered. Now in our AutoCAD drawing we created sort of an alcove and some bookshelves. I'm not doing that in this Revit model. We're just going to stick with the closet in the upstairs office. The closet doors here, you will have to create a new type, or load it from the family, but these get a 28" wide door versus the 30" wide door for these rooms. Again, I'm not going to show you that. You've placed some doors before. And we're going to leave off this tutorial at this point.